disclaimer before we start our presentation, I would like to mention that me and including all the other speakers today do not support or are not against the LGBT community in any way or sort. We just hope to inform all of you on why LGBT is such a rising issue in Malaysia today, and we hope we won't offend anybody because it's our personal point of views are left out for this presentation. It's just a matter of brief explanation to you guys what this matter is about. Okay. For our presentation today, the topics that we are going to cover, each speaker will cover a different topic. As in, for first, Shafiq will explain on early exposure, which he'll explain later on how the kids are being involved in the LGBT community even without their awareness or without their social understanding on this issue. And then Army will inform on the bad reputation that whoever that silau.
You can adjust the phones, right? Instead of asking them to.
Yeah. Okay. And then Armin will, as I mentioned, Armin will present on the bad reputation in society because, as we all know, people who come out or show themselves as they identify as not gender neutral. It will be like other than the normal norms of the society today will be, especially in Malaysia, there will be shunned upon because it's not a common thing, it's not accepted in Malaysia. And then Ulul will be acting as the lawyer today. He would explain to you guys the law, the Malaysia's law regarding the statement. And then Apid, special disclaimer for Apid, even though his statement is supporting the LGBT community in all ways, it's still not his personal point of view. This was just done through research. Okay, we shall start our presentation with Shafiq.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum and a very good evening, everyone. So okay, so the topic that I will be explaining about today is the early exposure of LGBT towards childhood and adolescence. So, first of all, to put into perspective, teenagers who are aware and have education regarding the LGBT topic, they can easily identify their sexual orientation. For example, like for men, they know what their sexual orientation are, and also for women. And so the first pro of early exposure is that the LGBT topic can be a topic for educational purposes. For example, this topic can be taught in schools. It can be taught to children as at the young age of primary school, so that they have more knowledge and awareness of it. And when they have more knowledge regarding LGBT, they won't experience culture shock in the future if they see any any LGBT activities happening in front of their eyes. So yeah. Also, schools or government can consider adding the topic LGBT as in the curriculum syllabus, and they can teach topics such as ways to prevent or avoid LGBT, and therefore the students will be more open-minded and they can have their own stand in this topic, whether they want to support or they are against it. It will be their own choice without anyone telling them. Okay, and the next second one is that through early exposure of LGBT, children or teenagers can avoid being sexually abused by adults. Because nowadays there are lots of cases, for example, in schools or in educational institutes. There are cases where students are being sexually abused by adults. This is because they don't have any knowledge regarding it. Like they don't know what's happening, what they're experiencing, what they're going through. So that is why early exposure is important towards children or teenagers, so that they can avoid all these things. For example, when they are taught in primary school or secondary school, the teacher can tell them like ways to avoid these things, ways to prevent, overcome, so that they know who to tell and what to do in those situations, instead of just giving themselves in unconsciously. And the next one, I'm going to explain about the cons of early exposure. So the cons is that children and teenagers, if we can see nowadays, most of them like to watch online streaming platforms such as Netflix, iFlix, and may I ask, how many of you watch Netflix or iFlix or any streaming platform? Okay, so almost half of you watch, and that is why it is not good for them, because in this modern day, children are allowed to use phones or tablets by their parents at a very young age, for example at the age of 4 or 5, until they grow up. So this is not good for them, because especially when they explore new things like streaming platforms, they will tend to watch movies or TV shows, series on Netflix or iFlix or any streaming platforms. And these streaming platforms, they showcase movies that are probably 18 plus or 15 plus, or the SPG, of course, which also portrays LGBT activities. So the children will not know, oh, what is happening, what is this, and they will eventually become adventurous to try these things, maybe with their friends or any family members, and yeah, but everything is out of curiosity instead of knowing what is actually happening. So that is why LGBT activities cannot be exposed to children or to teenagers through online streaming platform. Okay, so that is all from me. Thank you, everyone. And now I will pass back to Ash.
Okay, I would like to re-explain for those who are still wondering who applies to like the LGBT community. Not only the people who are transgender, gay, or lesbian are the only ones that are involved in this community. Those who identify themselves as gender neutral, as in they still have feelings or attractions towards the opposite gender, but are hardcore, hardcore supportive fans of the gay or lesbian people, they still identify as the LGBT community. They are still one with them. Also, to further explain and give you a visual presentation of how our main point will be, which is bad reputation in the society, we would like to show you a video of an artist in the States who struggled a lot with overcoming his struggles of coming out as a gay person. Please do enjoy the video.
I wasn't born in this country. I didn't grow up in any one particular religion. I have a mixed race background, and I'm gay. Growing up, I was a target. Speaking the right way, standing the right way, holding your wrist the right way. Every day was a test, and there were 1,000 ways to fail. 1,000 ways to betray yourself, to not live up to someone else's standard of what was acceptable, of what was normal. And when you failed the test, which was guaranteed, there was a price to pay. Emotional, psychological. And like many of you, I paid that price. More than once, in a variety of ways. Like many of you here tonight, I grew up in what I would call survival mode. When you're in survival mode, your focus is on getting through the day in one piece. And when you're in that mode at 5, at 10, at 15, there isn't a lot of space for words like community, for words like us and we. There's only space for I and me. In fact, words like us and we not only sounded foreign to me at 5 and 10 and 15, they sounded like a lie. Because if us and we really existed, if there was really someone out there watching and listening and caring, then I would have been rescued by now. The first time I tried to kill myself, I was 15. I waited until my family went away for the weekend, and I was alone in a house, and I swallowed a bottle of pills. I don't remember what happened over the next couple of days, but I'm pretty sure come Monday morning, I was on the bus back to school, pretending everything was fine. And when someone asked me if that was a cry for help, I say no. Because I told no one. You only cry for help if you believe there's help to cry for. And I didn't. I wanted out. I wanted gone. I mean, be alone with us, and it will only get you so far. That feeling of being singular and different and alone carried over into my 20s and into my 30s. When I was 33, I started working on a TV show that was successful not only here in the States, but also abroad, which meant over the next 4 years, I was traveling to Asia, to the Middle East, to Europe, and everywhere in between. And in that time, I gave thousands of interviews. I had multiple opportunities to speak my truth, which is that I was gay. But I chose not to. I was out privately, with family and friends, with people I learned to trust over time, but professionally. Publicly, I was not. Asked to choose between being out of integrity and out of the closet. I chose the former. I chose to lie. I chose to dissemble. Because when I thought about the possibility of coming out, about how that might impact me and the career I'd worked so hard for, I was filled with fear. Fear and anger. And a stubborn resistance that had built up for many years. When I thought about that kid somewhere out there who might be inspired or moved by me taking a stand and speaking my truth, my mental response was, consistently, no thank you. I thought, I've spent over a decade building this career, alone, by myself. And from a certain point of view, it's all I have. But now I'm supposed to put that at risk to be a role model to someone I've never met, who I'm not even sure exists. That didn't make any sense to me. not resonate at the time. By 2011, I'd made the decision to walk away from acting, and many of the things I'd previously believed self-important to me. And after I'd given up the scripts and the sets which I dreamed of as a child, and the resulting attention and scrutiny which I had not dreamed of as a child, the only thing I was left with was what I had when I started. I knew, and it was not enough. Several weeks ago, when I was drafting my letter to the St. Petersburg International Film Festival, declining their invitation to attend, a small, nagging voice in my head insisted that no one would notice, that no one was watching or listening or caring. But this time, finally, I knew that voice was wrong. I thought if even one person notices, this letter, in which I speak my truth and integrate my small story into a much larger and more important one, is worth sending. I thought, let me be to someone else what no one was to me. Let me send a message to that kid, maybe in America, maybe someplace far overseas, maybe somewhere deep inside, a kid who's being targeted at home or in school or in the streets, that someone is watching and listening and caring. That there is an us, that there is a we, and that kid or teenager or adult is loved. And they are not alone.
What's up, gamers? Welcome back to Man of Midnight. And thanks for joining me so far. You already know you watched it. Alright, so that is me. Okay, let's go.
Okay, I got a long speech just now, so that was 7 minutes.
Yes.
So for you who listen attentively, then that's very nice of you. For the others who don't, then they should listen more, because this issue is something that is happening right now, and we should have more awareness about it. And so Shafiq talked about the early exposure to the child. So I'm going to talk about the bad reputation in society, and my focus will be mainly on Malaysia. Okay, LGBT individuals are having a bad reputation since way back then. It's not a very recent issue. Like in Islamic studies, we learn about the people of Lut, which were sentenced for their wrongdoings, which is practicing sodomy. So with that being taught to us, so we naturally have that bad thinking about the individuals who are LGBT. So what I'm trying to say here is that the LGBT individuals have been had a bad reputation in society since very long time. So LGBT is not accepted in Malaysia, specifically because this country is a Muslim majority country. So even the country leaders, the Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir, describes same-sex marriage as a regressive way of thinking. And the other leaders also describe it as doing something against the social norms and exhibit disregard for traditional family and marriage institution. This is how the Malaysians see LGBT society. And also, the other Malaysian leaders also stated and made it clear that Malaysia would not copy the Western nations' approach towards LGBT rights and yes, LGBT rights. Because as you can see, recently there was a movie that was banned for having LGBT scenes, but it was cut for that scene and then later approved as on the basis of the LGBT character will end up either die or repent. That's the condition in Malaysia. If the LGBT individual end up with a happy ending, then it will not be approved. Okay, based on research from Pew Research Center in 2013, only 9% of Malaysians actually accepted LGBT rights, while the other 86 did not, and the remaining 5 of them are indecisive. And okay, like the video just now, the person just keep on mentioning there's only I and me, and there's no such word as society and community. He always feel alone. So the bad reputation towards the LGBT had caused multiple social problems, like constantly being judged. Being a normal individual is harsh enough because you are being judged by other people constantly. So what do you think the LGBT individuals would feel, because they would get judged even much more than us? So the LGBT individuals were constantly being judged and bullied for their sexual preference, and this will make them feel alone, feel neglected, and choose to isolate themselves from the society. This is very good, and this is a very bad thing to happen to an individual. So that's about isolation. So at the same time, this had also affected their mental health, where most of them are depressed, and that had led them to negative thoughts such like suicidal thoughts and self-hurting and self-depreciation. They don't think they are good enough because of their sexual preference. They think that because I am gay, I cannot talk to other people normally. Because I am bisexual, I cannot interact with other people normally, and the others will treat me very bad, and they won't talk to me, they will treat me very bad, and they will kill me. Not me, but the LGBT individual. So this is what the bad reputation has caused to the LGBT society. So we should be more aware of this and be more accepting, not in the way that we accept them as LGBT, that they are doing a right thing, but accepting as if they are and they are also an individual who have their own rights and preference. So passing on to the next speaker, we'll talk about the law and regulations in Malaysia about LGBT.
Alright, thank you very much, Armin Iskandar. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the law of marrying the same gender in Malaysia. Okay, first of all, as we all know, LGBT person in Malaysia face legal challenges which are not experienced by the non-LGBT residents. Okay, this is because, of course, as the point says so, it is not accepted in Malaysia. And sodomy is a crime in the country under a British prior colonial era law, which it has been there for quite a long time. And if you're wondering what's the meaning of sodomy, it's something related to the G in the LGBT. Yeah, I cannot explain here. You can Google for furthermore information. Yes, and the third one is social attitudes towards the LGBT community are also shaped by Islam, the official religion of Malaysia. Okay, what are the penalties that you will face if you were caught getting involved in LGBT? First of all, it's 20 years with or without fines. Deportation, we don't do it here. Chemical castrations, no. Vigilant executions and whippings, maybe. And Muslim citizens may be charged in the Islamic court, but I think it's rarely enforced in our country. And okay, few proofs that this same-gender marriage is not accepted. One of them is in 1994, the government banned their media, banned any media related to LGBT to be portrayed, to be released, yes, to the public. But in the end of 2018, they have a new law which says they are allowed to do so, but at the end of the movie or the story, they have to. It's either the person who were involved in LGBT either die or repent. Okay, and in 2005, the Royal Malaysian Navy Chief Anwar Muhammad Noor stated that the Navy would never accept homosexuals. And in May 2017, the LGBT Pride March organized by Taylor's University which is located in Sunway, planned in June, was cancelled due to Islamic pressure. And the event was condemned by pro-Islamic blocs because it was planned to do in the holy month of Ramadan and it disrespects the Islam religion itself. So that's all from me. I'm going to proceed to Afif Hussaini. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. So, Assalamualaikum and good evening once again to everyone. So, my topic is you don't have to put on a mask. So, basically, what I'm going to talk about is what you should do if you have a disoriented sexual orientation, or in other words, you are an LGBT individual. First of all, like I said, you don't have to put on a mask, meaning you don't have to be ashamed of your sexual preference. If you are a lesbian or you are gay, you don't need to label yourself, because labeling yourself just limits in many ways. One of them was your thinking. Don't label yourself, even if your political opinions are conservative, it has nothing to do with your sexuality. Same goes to straight people. You are a man who like women, a woman who like men. You too don't have to label yourself. I get it that some part of LGBT individuals are conservative. Just don't be ashamed of yourself just because you don't share the same opinions or sexual preferences with them. So next is privacy is yours. You need to ask yourself why you are feeling ashamed. You need to trace back, and once you trace it, you may start dispelling it. Some LGBT individuals became closeted. Now, being closeted is nothing to be ashamed of. Some LGBT individuals became closeted for the reason of privacy and not shame. They became closeted mainly because of three reasons, which is religion, political views, and your country of origin. So you should decide whether you want to become closeted or not, because your privacy is yours. Last but not least, find like-minded people. LGBT individuals became ashamed because they feel like they are being isolated, like Armin said just now. I mean, being LGBT puts you into the minority. So a way out of that is to go out and find some like-minded people. Lots of places, even in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, have like club, community or groups that for LGBT. So you should consider checking one of those out to help you. Not just that, you should also find a person who are comfortable with who they are and not ashamed of their sexual preference. And hopefully you too will learn that they are just good normal people just like us. And if there's nothing wrong with them and there's nothing to be ashamed of, then there's no reason for you two to be ashamed of, because there's nothing wrong with you. I think that's it from me. Moving on to official part with Ashwin.
Okay, so once again, to end off our presentation, I would like to restate the disclaimer that we had in the beginning of the speech, which is none of us support or are against the movement of the LGBT community. And also, for most of you or some of you who have that thought lingering at the back of your mind, whereas you guys are thinking, oh, this is not a big issue in Malaysia. It could be a big issue in the States or somewhere else rather than Malaysia, but it's not a big issue here. But to give you clarification on that, there has been a study by the Malaysian Islamic Development Department, JAKIM, where Muhammad Yusuf claimed that the number of gay men in the country increased from 173,000 to 310,000 between 2013 and 2018. This is in Malaysia alone. So I hope this clears out any confusion or misunderstanding you guys may have had. Okay, for now we'll open up to anyone who has any questions. Oh, well. Okay, sure.
Okay, I have a question to anyone. In your opinion, why do you think in Malaysia, some Malaysians disapprove the LGBT community or the people, but they support the pedophile? Like, do you know, like, there's an issue, there's a pedophile apologist, so I don't, what do you think?
Okay, for this case of pedophile, it's not about that individual not concerning about LGBT. It's about their own lust and their own interest towards children. So that is that is not related to LGBT, because, but based on your question, what about them? Then the country should have take more actions towards these individuals and be clear to the individuals that the marriage for children under the age of 18 should not be encouraged and should be banned because of certain health issues. So back to the reason why child marriage is. Are we talking about child marriage now? Okay, talking about pedophile just now. Because most of the individuals are getting misled by the fact that because if you take into some deeper research, most of these individuals are Muslims, and they are misled by the fact that children can, especially girl, can marry at young age, and the elder can marry the young, and if on their wish. Okay, that's their wish. So
does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Does anyone else has questions? Yes.
Can you guys go back to the early exposure slide?
Early exposure slide. Okay.
Okay, so the cons is that the second con is that you guys stated that it sparks curiosity in the mind of children, right? I would like to know, how is that a con? Like, is it wrong for children to be curious about the LGBT? maybe
Okay.
you guys should take that curiosity to explain about it in a way that shows that they can either support or not support it.
Okay, from this is what we stated in the beginning of the presentation. This is not our personal point of view. Also, to further explain that, I would like to say that the reason we say it sparks curiosity is mostly because of Netflix. The one that he explained before this, because of Netflix. The children who watch Netflix are curious, and usually the children nowadays, when they get curious, they don't usually bring up their curiosity towards their parents or any elder people. It's usually just widespread among their group of friends, and that without adult supervision can be dangerous. They could be trying out these acts for themselves without adult supervision, and that won't lead to us educating them. That would just lead them. Is there anyone who still hasn't joined?
Bodoh lah. Jangan nak gunting kan.
Is everyone ready? Yes? Okay. So,
Boy.
nampak ni kan?
On this LGBT status quo.
Siapa Syafiq Ninja?
What the hell is wonderfully. So I'm the winner lah.
Who was the last?
Bob and Priya.
Bob. Who was Bob? So Bob is officially in the community now. So with that, we would like to conclude our speech. Thank you, and for those who feel offended or anything, we